Hi and welcome to Drag Me with me, Leeja Miller, your lost bisexual friend who doesn't know what she's talking about. Today we're discussing All-Star 7 Episode 8, Santa School for Girls. Reminder that last week Jada and Trinity were the top two. Trinity ultimately won, but Jada now has 3 stars. She's the only queen with 3 stars. So they're feeling the pressure. There's a lot of discussion at the beginning of this episode, all about them just feeling like, can the queens with only 1 star actually make it to the top now? And Jada hasn't even ever been blocked, so she's just kind of sailed through all of a sudden with 3 stars. So I think they're all getting a little freaked out, because there's only 4 weeks left before the finale. However, we have seen, a curveball here and there, which has led a queen like 𝗣𝗦𝗢𝗏𝗡𝗏 to go from 0 to 2 stars in 1 episode. So I am nearly certain that RuPaul has to have another trick up her sleeve, right? Like, this isn't just going to be the same every week going forward. That seems improbable based on my limited knowledge of this series. Okay, so at the beginning, they're discussing their fears, and then we get to day 1 of the next week in the workroom. I have to say, Raja always pulls out the coolest outfits, even on these day 1 workroom days where she doesn't need to be fashionable. I love her outfit here. Last week, her outfit was very 70s to the point of being kitschy and campy in a fun way. She's a fashion queen through and through, and I would just like to acknowledge that. And then I like that, Raja comes in with this very fashionable outfit, and then Monet is straight lumberjack man. Which I guess is almost campy on Monet Exchange, but it's a little goofy. Anyway, so the challenge this week is an acting challenge in the show Santa's School for Girls, a combo Christmas movie, horror movie, Mean Girls flick, which theoretically sounds great. I want this movie to be made in real life. I want to watch this movie. How fun is that? In practice, though, at least this time around, and maybe not so much. Okay, so because Trinity won the week before, she got to pick the roles that all of these girls get to play in this show. And then it comes down to Monet and Jinx both wanting the same role. And then finally, this Trinity-Monet Exchange combo unity pact that they have made weeks ago at this point finally comes into play. And Trinity ends up giving Monet the role that she wanted, and Jinx kind of gets the shaft, which sucks for Jinx. She didn't deserve that. I said the same thing about last week's episode. She didn't deserve it. I feel like we're all picking on Jinx because everyone knows that she's a top contender here. Okay. All right. So all the roles get assigned. Jinx kind of gets the shaft, but she tries to make the most of it. And they go and they do their rehearsal in front of the director of Zola, Janicza Bravo, who was lovely to watch direct. It was really cool as someone with absolutely no acting background whatsoever to watch a director who seemed to be really good at what she was doing, really vibing with them as actors and really identifying and being able to communicate very clearly changes that genuinely seemed to help them and their acting. I feel like the limited acting challenges I have seen on RuPaul's Drag Race, a lot of times the directors that they have are either like Carson and Michelle, which is fine. But I don't often or ever, I've never seen a director come on here and give such helpful and fun and engaged direction to these queens. So it was honestly a real treat to watch them learn how to act better from someone who is clearly a professional at the top of her game. So it was really fun to watch. I didn't know who this lady was at first, but she won all of my respect and admiration just from watching that segment of her directing these queens. And I think she understood the assignment in that this is supposed to be an over-the-top, campy movie, John Waters-esque show. And so it's not supposed to be acted in a way that's traditional or realistic, I guess. And so her direction kind of went with that and helped to kind of camp it up a bit. So it helps the queens to be better. Did the queens really bring impressive performances to the table, in my opinion? Not so much. Not to be a hater, but the final product was kind of painful to watch, which is often the case, frankly, with these acting challenges that these queens have to do. I know it's supposed to be campy and over the top, but there's campy and over the top in an artistic, fun way. And then there's over the top in desperate overacting because they just want to stand out and stand out from the crowd. And I even got that from Jinkx. I think my expectations were too high for Jinkx. Like, it's not fair to her what I was expecting from her, but I was expecting a lot more. And it just felt like she was just desperately trying to be as over the top as possible in order to get as much attention as possible as she could in this minor role. Everyone else felt like they were overacting. Raja definitely felt like she was overacting. Like, it was painful. It was painful. The people who were actually fun to watch in this show were the Vivienne. I'll admit it. I didn't want her to be good at this because I am such a Jinkx fan. I'm realizing my biases against the Vivienne, but she was fun to watch. She was funny. It was over the top in a campy way that didn't feel desperate like the other girls felt. You know, she was funny. She looked fabulous. That very end where she like pops her head around and then gets pulled back. That was funny. That was like the only genuinely funny moment in there for me. So like the Vivienne was fun to watch. Shea was honestly fun to watch. Like, she wasn't over the top, but it felt funny. It felt like she understood the assignment. She was the voice of reason in there, and I think she did a really good job. Was it like campy and kitschy and over the top? No, but I think she did well in her performance. I think it was a good performance. And then Monét X Change, I thought did great. I don't think she got the recognition that she deserved in this episode. I think that her acting was great. I think that she delivered her lines in a really funny way. She understood the assignment. It was fun. It wasn't painful to watch, which I guess is the bar for this one, because so many of these girls were painful to watch that it was like, oh, she wasn't painful to watch? Great, she's one of the top for me. So for me, it was the Vivienne, Monét X Change, and Shea who really like felt like natural and comfortable in this challenge. And the other girls, the overacting didn't come from a place of camp and kitsch. It came from a place of like, I am desperate to stand out because there's only 4 weeks left and we're all freaked out about getting stars. That's all that read for me. Which is interesting because Shea and Monet at the beginning of this episode were the ones who seemed the most freaked out about getting stars. So it was hard to watch, I'm going to be honest. And of course, the judges, because this season, it's all about just like praising the queens as much as possible. The judges were just gobsmacked and blown away by everyone's performance. It's getting old. I want critiques. I want them to be mean to the contestants. Like, I want genuine feedback. And not just like this brown nosing the stars constantly week after week. I'm over it. And I know before I've said I want more drama. I'm fine without the drama. I just want more critique at this point. You know, like there's drama enough building in terms of like, oh my gosh, who's going to get it? Who's going to get more stars? Who's going to win? That drama is starting to build for me in a way that's like making me excited. But the critique and lack thereof is just... it's not what I want out of this show. I want something. I want some grit. Okay, so that's the Santa's School for Girls. Then we go on to the runway, which this week the theme is Nitty Nitty Bang Bang. And when they first announced it, I was like, oh God, this is gonna suck. I don't like knitwear. I don't like stringy, weird, conceptual fabric pieces, runway pieces. I don't know. I had really low expectations for this. I thought it was every single one of them were going to look like, you know how people go out and they like knit things that wrap around trees as like a form of art. I thought they were all going to look like that, which is fine. It's cute, but like, it's not runway. It's not, I didn't think I was going to like it, but I was wrong and I was pleasantly surprised. First up was the Vivienne. Again, I don't want to like her and I don't know why, and it's not fair to her, and I don't know why I've decided this, and I need to like step back. I think it's because I like Jinkx so much and she's a threat, which is, you know, a compliment to her at the very least. But this gown, holy shit. This knit white gown with the 2 knitting needles above her head. Sorry if you can hear snores right now. Moira has decided to fall asleep directly behind me, so... she's joined the party. Also, if you can see, my cat Bubbles is asleep in that basket right there, which is why it's a bit askew. So we are filled to the brim with pets today. Anyway, the Vivienne's dress, absolutely impeccable. Gorgeous. The shape, gorgeous. The way it drapes and flows down the runway. Shocking. One of the judges said, I think it was Ross, said, this shouldn't work. Or maybe it was Michelle. I don't know. One of the judges said, this shouldn't work. A knitwear gown should not be beautiful and flowy and lovely and work. It works. She looks gorgeous. The hair is gorgeous. The makeup is perfect. I am Obsessed with this look. I think this is my favorite thing that she's worn this whole season. Because frankly, a lot of the stuff that she's worn, I haven't been impressed with. But this, holy shit. And then we get Shea. And she also looked amazing. She's got the knit dress. And then she's got the headpiece and the knit collar circles and the gold collar. And, you know, she's done this time and again this season where she's kind of bringing in her African roots into her runway look. And it's so cool. And it's something that I think like the drag world desperately needs. It looks amazing. It looks couture. Her eye makeup makes her look like an alien in the best way. This is an absolutely phenomenal outfit. I don't know that I fully understand the shawl that she's wearing that looks like a camping blanket, and I don't really know how exactly it fits. I mean, it's knitted, so there's that, but I would have liked something that, like, I don't know, looked a little bit more dramatic and not like the blanket that I keep in the back of my car in case my car breaks down in the middle of winter, you know? That piece didn't work for me. The rest of it, though, was absolutely so cool, very stunning, and like, I mean, the second she walked out on the runway, RuPaul was like, oh my God, which, you know, that's always a good sign when RuPaul gets gobsmacked about an outfit. All right, and then we have 𝗍𝗦𝗡𝗡𝗡𝗡𝗡𝗏 coming out in, of course, this very weird ensemble that very much works for her. She's got two little yarn balls on her nipples, which is very funny. And then this kind of kooky abstract headpiece made with knitting needles and balls of yarn, and her hair looks like yarn. And then she's got this amazing pants and jacket that are like hand dyed and all yarn and shaggy and move in really cool ways when she walks. This was really fun. I love how the shawl like drags behind her like a train. Like it's just a really elegant, cool way to be draped in yarn, which isn't necessarily a very elegant textile to begin with, but I think she nailed it. It's weird. It's very 𝗍𝗬𝗡𝗡𝗡𝗏. It looks really cool. I love the color palette too. This worked for me. I really liked it. And then we have Jinkx Monsoon. At first, I wasn't sure about this dress because when she first walked out, I didn't get knit from it. But then once you start looking at the details, like it's crocheted, it's yarn, it's beautiful. It's on this like flesh toned slip that she's got underneath it, and it's sparkly, and she has this like knit shawl thing and the beautiful red old Hollywood wig with the red lip and the way she's acting it and just the drama of it. It is beautiful, and the shape is shockingly beautiful, which you don't think you could get from something crocheted like this. Like I don't think crochet and think like that's gonna have a beautiful structure and shape to it, and yet it works. It lays perfectly on her body, but then even at the bottom it kind of comes out a little bit. Like it's very old Hollywood and elegant. I think she nailed it. This was a great look for me. All right, and then we have Trinity the Tuck in this like lavender monstrosity, just draped in randomly knit and crocheted things with like leopard print underneath. I like the concept. I think it's cool. I think it's edgy. The execution to me, like it just didn't stand out compared to the other things on this runway. There was really no shape to it. It felt like there was no rhyme or reason to like what was being draped over her. The color is really beautiful. You know, that lavender color is really in right now and it's gorgeous. She looks gorgeous, but I don't know, the silhouette of this like really didn't work for me. The bottom part was really weird to me. All right, and then we have Monét X Change. She's in this knit puffer jacket with like a knit bow and the knit booty shorts, which like, I don't know how you walk in a pair of knit booty shorts when you got thighs that thick. I certainly wouldn't want to do it, but she looks really cute. It's really fun. Love the yellow nails. The color palette's really cool. I think the silhouette for me is a little boring compared to what the other girls are bringing to the table for this. And I feel like we've also seen silhouettes like this from Monét X Change this season. Correct me if I'm wrong. It feels familiar with her in a way that feels like maybe almost overdone. Maybe like I want to see something else, something more elegant. I don't know. Something about this, like, it was cute, it was well done, it was fun, but it didn't wow me. And then we got Jaida Essence Hall in the callback to Big Comfy Couch, which I grew up with, so that really had a special place in my heart. But she's got the big like afro puffs and the knit, the purple again, that lavender color a lot of these queens are doing, and it's really gorgeous. Plus the big white scarf. I don't know, this really worked for me because she looks so cute. I love the shape of the outfit. It's like somehow she's making this knitwear look sexy. She's making the big comfy couch look sexy. One of the judges said, you know, like she's took the big comfy couch and made it drag, which is so fun and cool. I love when drag queens do that, where like the dragification of a familiar thing that isn't draggy, but kind of is draggy. Like the big comfy couch, that's camp. And she like really leaned into it. I think she looks so cute and I love that outfit. The makeup's great. Yeah, it's good. Okay, and then we have Raja. She comes out in this, again, gold crocheted dress, but then she also has elements of like metal boots, metal wrists, bands, metal head thing, and then a metal like, you know, little, I don't know, planet bag thing that she's carrying. At first, when I saw this, I was like, okay, she didn't understand the assignment. There's a lot of metal here. All the other queens like just had knits on, which like, I don't know, maybe she cheated a little bit. It seems a little bit off the aesthetic. It doesn't read knit to me. It reads like chainmail, like gladiator chainmail. I love the concept though. I mean, she's got like the corseted waist. She's got the strong one shoulder look, which we saw last week in one of RuPaul's Legendary Legend looks that they had to recreate. Like, I really love that strong one shoulder silhouette, and I think it's a really gorgeous idea and concept. It's elevated in a way that the other girls' outfits aren't. Is it nitty nitty bang bang though? Does it fit with the theme? I don't know. I'm torn on this look. The wig is really cool though. I like the concept of this like red wig with the gold. I don't know. She looks like a space gladiator, which is very cute, but does it fit the theme? I don't know. It didn't necessarily really work for me though. Okay, so that's the runway look, and then the judges deliberate, and in a slightly shocking to me twist, they named the Vivienne as the winner. That wasn't shocking, but then they named Raja also as the winner. That surprised me, and it seemed to surprise Raja as well. Didn't think that her acting in the acting challenge was any good at all. It was over the top and painful. And then the runway felt not really on not on the money. It wasn't on the trend. And maybe that's good. Maybe everyone else's was too on the nose and hers was artistic enough that RuPaul was like intrigued by it. I don't know. I was certainly surprised when she won. And then as they were doing the lip sync, I think it became really obvious that they had decided that Raja was going to be the winner for the week. Don't know why. I know in the earlier episodes I've been talking about how Raja's getting the short end of the stick, and I still stand by what I've said, but this week specifically didn't feel like the week that Raja should have won. You know what I mean? I was a little surprised by that, frankly. And then during the lip sync, I mean, the Vivienne was pulling out all the shots. She does some sort of cartwheel and almost breaks her freaking ankle. She literally licks Raja's armpit, which was an upsetting moment for me. You couldn't pay me. And not just Raja, any person. Ooh, Bubbles is up. She emerges. Anyway, you couldn't pay me money to like lick anyone's armpit. That was upsetting to me because you know it was sweaty too. They're under those spotlights. They've been on the runway all day. No. That was upsetting. Anyway, so the Vivienne's pulling out all the shots. She looks great, by the way. I don't know what, she looks sexy. I think I'm biased towards like thick blonde women in like a white t-shirt. But she looked great. But Raja had like this 80s fashion going on for her dancing look, which was fun. And the 80s are coming back. I've already said it in the last video that I made, but the 80s are coming back. It's happening. Raja's on board. She looks great. Was I particularly impressed with the, lip sync? I don't know. It was fine. Bubbles is stealing the show right now. Bye. Anyway. It was fine, but I could tell, like, by the end of it that the producers or whoever had decided that this was the week that Raja was going to win, and she did win, and then she decides to block Jada, which I think was the exact right call. Jada's the only one with 3 stars, and she hasn't been blocked yet. Like, of course Jada's going to get blocked. It makes sense. It was the right call. So I was shocked. I was shocked that Raja won this week, to be quite honest. I think she deserved a win. I just don't think this was the week that she particularly knocked it out of the park. You know what I mean? I really feel like 𝗏𝗡 Exchange, at least in the acting, was great. Her outfit felt lackluster to me, but like Shea Coulee, I feel like showed up in a way that felt professional and like quality skill in that acting challenge, and then an absolutely gorgeous runway look that RuPaul herself was like, oh my God, the second that she stepped out on the runway. So I'm a little confused why Shea didn't get it this week, because she also only has 1 star. So it's not like it would make, like, you know, like, I think she deserved that time in the spotlight, because I think she nailed it, and she's been nailing it week after week, just maybe not quite as outshining some of the other queens in the weeks. But I think this week, I think she got a little robbed. So yeah, that was a bit of an upset for me, even though I'm a huge Raja fan and I think she deserves the recognition, and I'm happy for her that she's kind of like growing a new fan base now, like whatever, a decade after she was on Drag Race initially. So I don't know. I was surprised. What are your thoughts? Do you think that Shea was robbed? Do you think someone else should have won? Do you think that Raja's win was well-founded? Am I just missing the mark on this acting challenge and I just don't get it? That's a possibility. I don't know how to act. I've just watched a lot of movies, but that's no expertise. I don't know. It missed the mark for me on all levels. So those are my thoughts. That's episode 8. We got 4 episodes left, my friends, including the finale. So we have 3 episodes left. Right now, Jada's got 3 stars, and everyone else has 2 stars, except for Shea, 𝗟𝗓𝗡, and 𝗏𝗡𝗡𝗡𝗡𝗏, I think, are the only ones that only have 1 star now. So they're probably sweating in their boots. But I could see this coming down to not just a 4-way split at this point. It really still could be anyone's game, even though Jada is out ahead. Everyone else, besides 𝗏𝗡𝗡𝗡𝗏 and Shea 𝗟𝗡𝗡, have 2 stars. It's anyone's game. I can't wait to see how the rest unfolds. I'm starting to get the drama and get on the edge of my seat, and I'm ready to kind of watch as this last few episodes unfold. So I hope you'll join me for future episodes. Reminder that you can listen to this on a podcast form anywhere you get your podcasts, or if you're listening on podcasts, you can watch this on YouTube if you prefer to watch. Either's fine. If you're watching, you'll see me just up here sweating because it's 800 degrees outside in Minneapolis, and I live in a 140-year-old house that doesn't have AC. I did this to me. It's a choice I've made, but I will be sweating up here probably for the remainder of this season. So thank you for joining me in this sweaty room. Sorry that Moira has been just snoring nonstop behind my voice this whole time. I hope that you found that calming. I will see you next week for episode 9. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Have a good day. Bye-bye.